go to the field, he had like a fake deer, and he would shoot a bow and arrow at it in like the center field.
That is so awesome. Got the piping. Yes. Yes. Yes.
That shit's gonna stun me.
2000 NLCS championship ring, which is one of the. Oh, look at the box it's in. Yeah. Yeah. We in on that action. You don't
sign on Mondays. We go through the next day like if you don't sign on Tuesdays.
Welcome back to High Cheese, Mets news, baseball news. I'm Tommy. This is Bobby. We got a special episode tuned up for you this day today. This is the first ever interview on High Cheese, and we got when we started this podcast, we said we're doing an intro with. If we're doing this Mets podcast, we're bringing this guy on. What we have today is a special guest. It's in the family. It's our guy, one of our cousins, who was the Batboy for the New York Mets in our youths and growing up, and we got to see him on TV during one of the best eras of Mets baseball, Shea, 97 to 98. I don't even know. We'll find out because I'm not even too sure on the exact dates. But we're going to talk about it. So let's get into it. We got cousin Jim McNally on the podcast, ready to talk some Mets baseball, find out what it's like to be a bat boy for the New York Metropolitans. Let's get into it. Welcome, cousin Jim. Welcome to High Cheese.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be here. First time, long time.
Let's go. There it is. All right, well.
The years were 1998 to 2001. So I was a junior in high school and up until sophomore year of college.
Those are 3 killer Met years to be a part of that team. 4
years.
Oh, 4 years. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
math,
Crazy shit then.
Yeah, you got to see some amazing stuff.
Yeah, you're good. You're good with the cursing. It's Tommy. Tommy runs wild, so.
Yeah, mom and dad say slow it down. Never. Wait, so how did you become the Bat Boy?
So, long story short, my dad, did this golf outing for, his brother-in-law, JC, John Caldwell, and did the golf shirts, and they'd make up the JC Classic. And the guy that makes the shirts for his golf outing is the guy that stitches the uniforms. He works for Stitches, a guy named Russ. Great guy, and ultimately came to one of our basketball games. He came to the community. He was looking for some athletes to be bat boys because they just had a bunch of kids that were going off to college and they were getting a little bit too old for the position. So he hired myself, he hired my best bud Dave, and he's been there for going on 98 to 2022. So he's been there for 24 years now, and I was there for four great seasons, and certainly was better than any high school job you could have.
I can only imagine. That's so epic. And he's a equipment manager now. Is that what he does?
He's actually doing the equipment on the visiting side. So it's
cool. That's sweet.
Cool. He gets to see all the players, and
that's awesome.
He has a little bit more of a relationship with who comes in, and
that's fun. So the Bat Boy stuff. So you're a junior in high school. I can only imagine
I'm 16 years old. I can't work a certain amount. There's child labor laws that you have that you blow right past as a bat boy because you're working 12, 14, 16-hour days.
That's wild. What was the normal day like? What was your daily routine?
You go to, let's just call it a 7-10 game, your typical day, and in the summer because school is an outlier. But you'd show up at 1 o'clock or so, between 1 and 2, because players start to get there. The coaches are all there usually by that time too. BP is usually in that 2:30. You're setting up the field for them, and they're hitting at 3. They hit first, and then the visitors hit second. So you're there. You're setting up the clubhouse. They're coming off the field. You're doing their laundry as they're coming off. You're cleaning any kind of spikes if they've used that on the field, and then obviously you're getting ready for game time. So getting all the bats, getting all the helmets, getting all the equipment into the cubby holes that you see when they're grabbing.
Yeah.
Anything that they need out in the bullpen, making sure that the rosins are all there and ready. All of the Manny Moda stick, which is they use for some stickum, and then they obviously have the the pine tar rags and things like that. So
Awesome.
you're putting that all together before the game, and then after the game, it's like you're basically like their butlers because you're cleaning the locker rooms, vacuuming, doing all the laundry, cleaning all the spikes. So you could be there at the end of the game. Let's say it ends at 10. By the time you're off the field, 10:30. Sometimes 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, you'd be leaving there just because crazy games or extra inning games.
Yeah. Oh my God.
3-4 hours after the game. So when you're going to school, and I'm in high school, I think I fell asleep in a few classes.
Yeah, you got it. Like,
yes.
and how would it work with like the 1 o'clock starts? Like, were you just dipping out? You had to dip out of school, right? Like, there was no way you could.
We had a lot of Batboys that first season, so we tried to like rotate it. Obviously, opening day, we'd send a note, or I talked to my teachers. I think everyone was kind of understanding with the job that you had, and everyone thought it was pretty cool. So
Yeah, it's got to be like you're flexing, so it's like even the teachers got to be like, well, that's cool. I'd rather be doing that than teaching math.
And it's really just opening day. Like, there's not a lot of day games other than like maybe a getaway game where they might be playing like a midweek day game. So it probably is like maybe 2 games in April, and then in September, and then October. It could be anything, right? You could be that 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm cutting class.
Yeah. You have to drag me to school.
Easiest decision ever.
When you were in high school, was it something that like did everyone in the high school know, or like were you low key about it? Like, or did people just know just because they'd see you and be like, well, that's Jim McNally?
It was pretty cool. I mean, I kind of one of those things where you became somewhat of a celebrity in that.
I bet.
Where people just all thought that was a cool job, and the Mets were starting to get good at that point, 1998, and they just make the trade for Mike Piazza, so it's like they were coming off some pretty, tough years, in the early 90s, and then 96 they started to turn it around, right? Like they had Hundley and Gilkey and Lance Johnson. They all had pretty good years, and then they're starting to get towards that like 500 and better team, and
then you swoop in. So that sick job.
Luck would have it. 98, 99, 2000 were just really good years.
All right, so since you were in that, so they introduced the black jerseys, right? Well, we'll get onto this first. First off, did you have a favorite jersey you'd like to wear when you were a Batboy?
Favorite jersey? I think when we were talking about before about how cold it was on the field, the pinstripes were the thickest of them all. So
really?
When you were in like a cold night, the
pinstripes were the thickest.
Seemed to kind of do a job, and it's it's the classic. It's the old school one. I would have liked the 86 one with the piping.
Oh yeah, with the racing stripe.
I think they wore that one like this 06 season. I always thought that was like a cool one. I love that 80s look. All those like the the 80s Bo Jackson powder blue.
Yeah,
those are the ones that kind of appeal to me when I'm looking at them.
What about I imagine you didn't care for the piece of shit goddamn Mercury Met jersey this clown shoe loves. No. Tell me you walked into the clubhouse that day and all the players were like, we're really wearing these.
It was such a weird like game. Like I kind of remember like they had like weird pictures up, like they changed the Ricky Henderson was like an alien.
Yes, dude. Yes, he was like Yoda. It was like the weirdest stuff ever.
It was cool in the moment, like when you're wearing it. It was like something different. You were wearing like the
in the moment
Snow White pants, right? They didn't create like pants for it.
Yeah, still.
It was cheeky, but I remember the Pirates jerseys was out there too. And,
it was huge. It was a huge pirate head. It was massive. It took up their whole torso. It was absurd.
I mean, it was a gimmick, and I found it funny that the Yankees were like, "We're not doing this. We're just sticking with our pinstripes."
We're so classic. Nah, that's what I expect is going to happen with these new Connect jerseys. Me and Bobby were talking about it. We're like, the Yankees are definitely going to they're going to walk up to the Yankees and be like, "What do you guys want to do?" And they'll be like, "Nothing. We don't want to do any of these fun jerseys."
I don't know. I think Nike has a little bit more sway, like where
they're
making these jerseys do something. If it was Rawlings like it was then, I don't think that's.
I'll just twist Judge's arm. I think he's sponsored by him. They'll just be like, pull some weight. So you were there when the black jerseys started. They started in 98. Is that when they first came into?
They started in 98. I don't remember them being before, because the only other jerseys they had before were the Snow Whites, and then they had those god awful white hats. Like if you ever watched the Jackie Robinson game, I think it was like the '97 season where they like retired his number. Like they had like it almost like a chef's hat. It was like a white hat and then like
I don't think I've ever seen these. I gotta see this. That sounds amazing.
The research department's going wild right now.
Right. All right. So from like the first day, right? The first day was probably so exciting. I imagine, right? Like you're probably just jazzed up.
Yeah, I mean it was an exciting game. Like if you go back and look at the '98 box score opening day, it was Kurt Schilling versus Al Leiter, and
dude,
they both were throwing zeros the whole game. It was a shutout game. I had to go back and even look. I just remember it being a long game, and I think it went to like the 13th, and it was like still 0-0. So they won in like a walk off in like 13th or 14th inning. It was pretty incredible. And I I'm a little kid. I'm down the left field line. And Uncle Jack and my dad like snuck down there with their tickets next to me the whole game. So it was I remember it being like a warm opening day. Like it was like end of March, early April, and it was like 85 degrees or something like that. So it was like unseasonably warm for opening day.
Awesome. Oh, that's great. That's great. Now, being that you're all young and like pumped about this, was there ever a point while you were a bat boy that it ever lost any of that? Like was there ever any day where it just became like, oh, I'm going to work? Was it ever that, or did it always stay like, well, I'm still a bat boy. I'm still handing Mike Piazza's pine.
You start to lose the appreciation for it a little bit. Like in the middle of some of the seasons, especially probably like going towards my last season when it was kind of clear that they were kind of at the end of their run there. Like they weren't. They were still struggling. I mean, they were still in it up until the end of that season, but it wasn't the same, and it starts to drag on you when I'm coming from Manhattan College up in the Bronx, so I'm taking the 1 train all the way down, and I'm taking the 7 in, and it's like 2-hour commute. So it's one of those things where it's like this is getting a little tiresome, but at the end of the day, like what else would I have been doing at that point?
Right, working a deli or bodega. It's like, nah, Bat Boy's 10 times better than that.
End of the year, it kind of drags you back in because the play. That's when the tips come out.
There you go. It's when Mikey P's just like, oh, and that's when you go to Mike and go, how much was that contract, Chief?
Yeah, exactly. How many cleats did I clean for you?
Yeah. And was it the same as like, so because we heard from Tyler McGill's mom that we got that hot scoop that on the tweeter that she said that they get rid of the jerseys, not get rid of, but they take the jerseys away every time. There's brand new jerseys every single game. But that was not the case, right? With you guys?
No. Every game might be
aggressive, right?
Yeah,
there's no way. That's 100. That's 162 jerseys a person. Like that's a lot of jerseys.
I don't know if the 24th guy at the end of the bench like that hasn't come in the game. They're taking it away, but who knows what they're doing? Sometimes they sell these now. Like there's jerseys, so it's like you could sell a game used Lindor jersey every game, right? Like somebody's going to buy it for $100 or $300,
right?
Or something, and you autograph it and. So they do some of that where it's like charity, and I'm sure like tax write-offs. Steve.
But
something. He's got to recoup something.
He's got it. What? So, but you guys, it was just the same jerseys in rotation, right? Like it was always like, did they have like?
They had like 4 jerseys when I was there. So it was like the pinstripe, black, snow white. No, it was 3. So it was snow white, black, and the pinstripes, and then obviously like the road grays if we. If we went to Yankee Stadium.
Did you do? Oh, so I was about to ask. So you didn't do any road games? I guess you only did the Yankee road games.
Like when you're watching the game, most of the time it's like the Bat Boy is like part of the other team. So never went anywhere besides the Bronx. They talked about doing road trips, and you see sometimes the Bat Boys be on like the Braves, like that would be like their treat where they come with them on the charter, but you probably didn't want 18-year-old kids partying.
Yeah, I don't. I'll do it. All right. Next, this is a good one. Favorite Met you got to work with? Who was your favorite like Met that you got to hang out with, work for? Like who was just like if you were to look back on your time as a Met Bat Boy, who was like the standout? Or give us top 3. How's that? Give us top 3.
Well, I would say my favorite, and I would say it's Turk Wendell was my favorite. I think he was. just a regular guy, like kind of treated you as a peer versus kind of like somebody that looking down on. He certainly was very generous to me over my life there as well. But I think he was just like one of those people that talked to you, had great conversations with him. So anything that he ever wanted, he'd be there for you to support you. Joe McEwing, sometimes just have a little bit more rapport with some of the bench players, and Joe McEwing was another great guy. I was happy to see he's like in the running for managers. I think he was just like first guy in the clubhouse every day. Like
awesome.
Just working people. After that, I mean, like Ventura was great, Johnny Franco, Rick Reed, like all those guys are great people. But Turk was just one of those guys.
Hell yeah. Did he go on? What was the necklace, man? What was the gator necklace? Was he just a South kid or something like that? Was he from like Florida?
Watch videos of deer and not like shooting deer. Like they'd watch videos like on like where they'd watch like highlights of like bats and stuff like that at bats or like the pitcher coming up. Like him and him would just be like watching deers walking by, and then they'd go to the field. He had like a fake deer. And he would shoot a bow and arrow at it in like the center field.
That is so awesome. This dude, Turk Wendell missed out on the social media age, because if anyone caught wind of this, he would be huge. They'd be like, "This dude's shooting like deer in the middle of Shea."
Like a dude ranch out in like Colorado or something now. Right? Like,
awesome.
He wrangles cattle or something like that.
Awesome. What a cool dude. That's great. What a great like throwback player that like. Oh man. You heard too that he gave Taiwan when Taiwan took over number 99. He gave him one of his necklaces. He gifted it to him. Yeah, during spring training. I think they asked Taiwan during spring training. They're like, "You ever going to wear it during a start?" He goes, "If I start poor enough and I need something to turn me around, I might have to." Like,
or at least throw the rosin down like he did. He used to get like the crowd pumped. You didn't really see a middle reliever get the crowd pumped up. Like he's a good. That's the type of people you need in your bullpen. A guy that rubber arms goes in like every game. Like, I have no idea how the guy pitched as much as he did, but he's pretty reliable. Mets could use a guy like that.
Little Drew Smith action.
Yeah, he's I heard he's been trying to slide into the DMs of that chick.
Oh my god, that shit was hysterical. Respect it, man. Respect the game. Drew Smith, play up. Favorite celebrity you got to meet? Because I imagine you got to see people throw a lot of first pitches, or at least just come hang out in the clubhouse, being that the Mets are the Mets,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's like sports celebrities. Like, do you want to go there first, or do you?
We'll start with the sports celebrities that aren't, I guess, Mets, or that are just other like football or anything really. Did Tiger ever show up? Did Tiger ever show up with his stinger and be like, "Yo, you want to see?"
Never saw Tiger. You would see sometimes like random, sports like in New York celebrities. So it's like number one picks from like
McEnroe.
So like you'd have like some of like the Giants or the Jets, like they'd have them like throwing out the first pitch like whenever they draft people then. But I'd met Sandy Koufax. He was there during the '99 run. I guess he came into the clubhouse, and one of the players is like, "Can you give me Sandy Koufax's autograph?" And I'm like, "What are you?" I was like, "Are you too shy to go ask him Sandy Koufax?" I had to go ask him for an autograph, and he's like, "Of course I'm taking two balls over there, because if you're going to ask Sandy Koufax for an autograph, you might as well ask for two at the same time, So, but he was nice. He signed everything.
That's awesome.
Most of those like Hall of Fame players did anything for the Batboys. It was like Tom Seaver signed anything you wanted for him. He was like, "This is for you, or this is for your boss." I'm like, "This is for me." I was like, "All right, you're not gonna."
That's awesome. Oh, that's great. That's cool.
Other celebrities, I have a pretty cool story. So we used to get wrestlers in there every once in a while, and Stone Cold Steve Austin came, and he was drinking his Budweisers on the bench, and he was signing jerseys and signing shirts for people, and he had like these black Stone Cold shirts that he was signing for all the players.
He just brought a stack of shirts just to sell and give to people. God, what a cool guy!
I had those silver pens that those markers where they have to like you write it and it's like in that silver ink or whatever that it's all over your hands. Well, I gave it to Stone Cold Steve Austin, and it exploded in his hands. So I'm like, shit, Stone Cold's gonna stun me. He was all cool back then. "Oh man, no worries," and he like wiped it on his jeans and like went on about his day. So he had like for the first pitch, he had like silver marker all over.
That's so funny. That's awesome. I love that his jersey had 316 on it. You can't beat that. It's the coolest thing ever. I'm sure the stitching guy was like, "What am I putting on this?" They're like 316. Epic. Oh man. All right. Were you? Well, you kind of answered this before, but you're saying that there were other Bat Boys. I was gonna ask, were you boys with other Bat Boys, or I guess because I was gonna say, were you boys with Bat Boys from like opposing teams, but because they don't come, I guess you're not really.
Well, I do have a story from visiting clubhouse that I think is pretty funny. So we one year, like I think it was in 1998, so it was like the summer, and the visiting guys, there were a couple of them were going on like weddings or something, so they needed some help on the visiting side. So that it was the Padres and the Giants were in town. So I myself dressed up and went over to the Padres and was working in the visiting clubhouse that time. So I remember one story. Jimmy Leyritz is, I guess, he was on the Padres on that season, and he was not in the game. And I saw him, in the clubhouse. He was making a smoothie, which is, people make protein shakes like, pretty much every game.
Yeah.
And then he proceeded to put about maybe a fifth of vodka in said protein. And he was counting those the whole game. And lo and behold, in the ninth inning, they call upon Jimmy Leyritz. I'm like, this guy's definitely drunk. And he laced a single up the middle. I was like, shit.
Love it.
Guys is just like,
love it. That's so awesome. So when you were a Padre, did you get to wear a Padre uniform?
Yeah, so I was in the Padres. So the
That's
Padres
cool.
The Padres would bring in jerseys that say just BB on it or something.
Yeah.
Various sizes, so that whoever's there could dress for the game. So yeah, I was
that's
wearing
pretty cool.
Padres jersey, and then the Giants were in town too. So like Barry Bonds in there, and
hell yeah,
Jeff Kent and that whole team. So
awesome.
Also have another cool story because it was the Padres, Giants, and Dodgers. So it was like a three set, I think it was from there. And the Dodgers just traded for Mark Britzelanek. I'm not sure if you know who that guy is, but he was kind of a utility infielder. He was on the Montreal Expos, and heard them talking to Mark. I'm like, Mark, we got to get you the signs. We got to teach you, what our signs are. And they're like, don't worry about that. Our manager Lou was able to steal all your signs, so I know all the signs are ready. So I think we should have changed the indicator up first.
That's amazing. I mean, like, did you get to take, like, when you were a Padre, did you, like, take a Padre hat? Were you like, well, I'm going to wear this hat home kind of thing? Or, like, was like, give it back. Give it back.
Well, National League rules where we had to wear those helmets, so we didn't have.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
We all looked like John Olerud with
Not a bad guy to look like. Stud.
Yeah.
All-time average leader.
He was the only guy that was taller than me on the Mets. But
was he? How tall was John Olerud?
He was probably like just over 6'5", 6'6".
Damn, I didn't know he was that tall. Tall, lanky man who just ropes it, man. Gotta respect that.
Hit 350. Use a guy like that in the lineup. He's not a bad guy hitting behind Piazza.
No. Playoff atmosphere. What was the I can only imagine, like, the excitement from you, let alone just going to do it, but then, like, the excitement in the clubhouse and the field. Like, what was that atmosphere like for any of the playoffs that you were a part of?
Yeah, it's a different feeling. It's like, the day-to-day becomes a grind for these players, but, like, they're locked in when it comes there. And, it's everyone's so on edge, right? Because, 99, you have that, Diamondback series, which was crazy. It was my first, experience into there. And, I remember Game 4, they were facing – I don't remember who they were pitching about, but I knew that if they didn't win that, they had to face Randy Johnson going into Game 5. So that was the crazy extra inning game where Todd Pratt hit the walk-off home run, and Mike Piazza was hurt. So it was like there was a lot of forces going against us that series. And, that was the first time that we got to sip some champagne, and I'm a pretty young guy drinking that in the clubhouse. And lo and behold, there was I think it was the 99 season. It was the 2000 season after they beat the Giants. I'm on the cover of Newsday with a bottle of champagne in my hands.
Yes.
Just coming in afterwards, like I think he threw like a one-hitter or something like that. And got in a little bit of trouble because I was 18 years old.
I remember literally being shown and told that story like the day after being my mom and dad being like
pounding it. I just kind of had it in my hands.
Yeah,
I was cleaning up the clubhouse. I was, I was making sure that things.
Epic picture. I remember my mom and dad literally showing us and being like, "Look at," and we like, "Cousin Jimmy," and they're like, "Yup, what's in his hand?"
I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been when I was like.
It should have been. That would have been 10 times more epic. What a great! Oh man, it's so awesome. That's so awesome. And then the World Series, the fact that you got to be a part of that too. The Subway World Series is like, and before we even get into, this is in the middle of that. You got to be a part of. This is one of the coolest things about your career, I think, as a Batboy, and it's one of the craziest moments in baseball history. And you were a literal third party in Mike Piazza getting assaulted by Roger Clemens throwing a piece of a splintered bat which could have killed him.
Well, I do have something to show you guys.
Oh no, what do we got? You got like a splinter from it? You pulled off a little splinter?
So it was on a Fox game, and like Keith Overman somehow got the bat that I think he asked it from me. I think I gave him the handle of the bat because the barrel went into like the Yankees clubhouse. So he sent me a piece of the splinter of the bat.
No way! Oh yes! No way!
Keith Overman.
That is so awesome! Wow! Yeah. Yes, that is so awesome! Yes! Epic. Wow! Did he just like mail it to you randomly?
Well, you know what happened was like. He broke his bat, right? And when a player breaks his bat, the bat boy runs to his cubby hole to get his alternative bat. So I didn't even see Clemens threw the bat at him. All of a sudden, I'm getting like all three of his bats out just to see which one he wants as the next one. Mm-hmm. And like the bench is clear and like everything like insanity is happening. And then like there's a picture of me in the paper with Piazza the next day, like handing him the next bat, which is
crazy. How does that work? Tell me you're part of these bench clearing brawls, my guy. Tell me these bench clearing. You're like, let me at him.
We were made pretty clear with my boss. He's like, if that ever happened, like you stay very far away from that.
Oh man, I would have just dove right in. I would have been like, come on, let me at him. Come here, pet it.
And it doesn't help that you're a giant target too.
Yeah.
They probably would think that I'm a player. So
yeah,
that's true. That's true.
There's no way this guy 6'5" is a bad boy. So
yeah, that's so great.
I don't want like Graham Lloyd coming in from the ropes to like swing at me,
Oh, that's so great.
Thank you for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed. We got parts 2, 3, maybe even 4 coming out. It was a nice long conversation. A lot of interesting stuff. A lot of interesting things happening when you're a bat boy. You talk to people, you see people, you meet people. Ricky Henderson, awesome Ricky Henderson stories. So yeah, we got more of this coming out. Hit the channel. Subscribe to us. We got all kinds of Mets stuff, baseball stuff. If you don't like the Mets, we got vlogs, we got podcast episodes, all kinds of stuff. So stay tuned. Enjoy. Comment if you have any comment. Comment if you comment. Thanks for watching. Thanks also to Jim McNally for coming on and doing this. So awesome of him to come and tell us stories and give us insight into being a Met bat boy, which is so sweet. It's so cool and it's so wild that he got to live through so many epic Met historical moments. So more to come with him and hearing about being an awesome bat boy. So thank you again, Jim, for coming and rocking.